Hello, and welcome back to Cinema Sitdown. I'm your host, Megan Weaver, and today I'm joined with...
Rudy.
Andrew.
Madeline. Demi. Oh.
And let's roll the intro. Portrait of a Lady on Fire is a 2019 French period piece by director Céline Sciamma. Might be pronouncing that wrong. It follows the story of Marianne, a painter, as she's commissioned to paint Heloise's wedding portrait. The problem is Heloise refuses her marriage, so Marianne must paint her in secret. The film explores themes of memory, desire, and the female gaze. So let's watch the trailer.
Je suis peintre. L'homme intéressé par ma fille est milanais. Nous partons là-bas si le portrait lui plaît. Il a épuisé déjà un peintre avant vous.
Que s'est-il passé?
Je ne sais pas. Elle vous attend.
Ça fait des années que je rêve de faire ça. Mourir? Courir.
Vous allez devoir la peindre sans qu'elle le sache. Elle pense que vous êtes une compagne de promenade pour quelques jours.
Que savez-vous de mon futur mariage?
Rien.
C'est tout ce que j'en sais aussi. Quand allez-vous vous marier?
Je ne sais pas si je vais me marier.
C'est parce que vous pouvez choisir que vous ne me comprenez pas.
Je vous comprends. Quand vous êtes embarrassé, vous mordez vos lèvres.
Vraiment. Quand vous êtes troublé, vous respirez par la bouche. Combien de temps restez-vous?
Je ne sais pas.
J'ai un nouveau sentiment. Le regret.
Quel en est le titre? Portrait de la jeune fille en feu.
Wow, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I'm just devastated again. We just watched the movie, and watching the trailer has like re-devastated me once again. I guess this is my favorite movie. I feel like I just say I've watched it probably upwards of a dozen times at this point. And I just every time it just gets me the same way. And I want to ask our first-time viewers our initial thoughts on the film. If anyone wants to say their initial thoughts on the film.
I'll start. I think I really enjoyed this movie for a lot of reasons that I wasn't expecting. Specifically, I felt that it was very slow. It was an extremely slow-paced movie, but it felt very on beat, I guess. It's still, they really use silence in this movie. I think a lot of it. There's not an insane amount of dialogue for how long it is and how dialogue heavy it kind of, or it relies on dialogue, I guess. It's really just like stuck in the same area, but it never felt like it ever lost intention, I guess. Like it really wraps itself up in about every possible way. But I don't know, I just think like the slowness of it with the very kind of angelic, mesmerizing imagery was a cool combo to create like this super like eerie romance story, I guess.
Yes. That's a good. Those are some good descriptions. Anyone? Let's over here. Go over here.
Good movie.
I hate you, but I really love this movie, and I hate you for exposing me to this, and my heart hurts, and it was so good, and every shot was so meaningful. Everything, there was nothing in there that wasn't unnecessary. Like, it all meant something, it all needed to be in there, and I really enjoyed it.
I think one thing I noticed a lot was the lack of like background music.
Yes.
And that kind of goes with what Rudy was saying, but just that they didn't have any background music, it made you really focus on what was going on. So that was one thing I noticed that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, non-diegetic, is that the right word?
Yeah.
All the sounds in this movie are happening in real life. So there's only one scene where it's like the background music fades into the next scene, but for the rest of the movie, if there's music playing, it's happening in the movie, which you don't see a lot. A lot of times movies are just constantly have some sort of background music over the whole thing, and when you have a movie that doesn't have that, it really stands out of, everything is really quiet all the time. You just hear everyone's footsteps and like their movement of their clothes and stuff. Andrew, I wanted to ask you, so you've watched this movie before, and this is a movie where you could watch it so many times and notice something different every time. So I wanted to ask if you noticed anything different from your first watch to this one.
I definitely did notice more in regards to like the performances. I think is what I really was like honed in on this time, because the first time I was like, getting everything as a whole. This time I was able to sort of like hone in on those performances, because there's a ton of subtleties in them. And the movie even like itself sort of like points it out, and that in the one scene where they're talking about like, oh, you do this when you're nervous, you do this when when you look at me or something and stuff like that. And so just really noticing those subtleties like pop up throughout, and just sort of being able to recognize like, oh, here's how this builds to this, here's how this builds to this. I think that was a really good thing. I really enjoyed how like deliberate everything is. I think that's what really helps. It helps me appreciate the movie more that I've seen it twice now, because like I can like see where everything is going, where everything leads, and how all these subtle things sort of build up to the ending. Yeah,
this movie really does a lot in like trusting the audience,
for sure,
because it doesn't do a lot of explaining and like laying things out for you. You just expect it to like catch up as the movie goes on, which I can appreciate, because that's what kind of happens in real life. We don't sit down and give exposition. It just kind of happens and you catch on. The movie does explain itself throughout the movie. You just have to watch the whole movie. I guess I wanted to talk about
Can I say something about that specific? Because there's like a few bits where I actually feel like it gives too much away.
Really?
Because I'm mostly thinking like the last this kind of little spoilery.
All right.
But it's when she's looking at the portrait before the music hall at the end, and we have the wider shot there, and then we go back to her face, and then we close in on the book. I kind of liked it, because I noticed, on that first shot, I noticed the book the first hand, so I didn't really like how it cut back to this.
You didn't like the extra close-up?
This is a very small thing, mind you, but like I feel like there was that, and there was at least one other point that I'm forgetting now after I've thought about it, because I noticed it at one other point, but there was really just that last bit that was like, it kind of annoyed me a little bit, because the rest of the movie is so good about that. But that's a very minor complaint, ultimately.
I understand that. I think one of the most... This movie to me is sort of like indescribable. The only way I can describe it is just like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. The cinematography is great. The shot, how it's shot and composed are just fantastic. And I wanted to talk to you guys about just like the cinematography aspect of it, and how the story is kind of told through the composition of the shot. Because a lot of the movie, we are Marianne's eyes, and we are looking at what she is looking at, which is mostly Heloise. And so, and a lot of the times the characters looking back at the camera will make direct eye contact with the camera, which is a very like powerful thing to do in film.
Like she's looking at me right now.
This is one of the most powerful shots to me, this one over here, because it is such a direct eye contact with the camera, and we, the audience, are supposed to be taking the place of Marianne here as she like looks into her soul, basically. So let's talk about cinematography.
Everything is so clean. Like, that's how I feel like I can describe it. Everything's very warm, but also white. It's just very clean. And everything's very in the center of the frame. Especially with the eyes and stuff.
The eyes, yeah.
There was so much looking, and I just loved looking. And then there was also, oh my gosh, my favorite shot is the very beginning when Heloise, she's running out the door.
Yes.
She runs down the stairs and out the door. And then, as Marianne is leaving the last time, she runs down the stairs and out the door the exact same way.
Yeah, there's a lot of parallels.
And I loved that.
Yeah, very deliberate parallels from, like, beginning to end of the movie of, like, I kept wanting to turn around to you guys and be like, remember?
You did.
I did at one point, so I really wanted you to hold on to that one. But I kept wanting to be like, and this will come back later.
This is important. This is important.
Yeah, I really wanted to keep doing that, but because it does happen a lot of parallels from the beginning to end, and that is the big one of them following each other and walking after one another. And that scene that you're talking about is the first time we see Eloise's face. They like tease it a lot. They like tease her face a lot, and I think that's really important because we look at her face so much.
I love that whole sequence.
Yeah, that's a really good shot, just in like blatantly cinematography wise with the following and like the. It's a good shot.
I also really love this one's really random, but it's the one specifically where Sophie, Heloise, and Marianne are out in the field picking those abortion flowers.
Yes.
And they're like the way that they're staggered. It's just very pleasing for my
like,
eye. And then they pop up.
They all do like a Scooby-Doo pop up on the grass at the same time. I think
animated.
that's fun. Yeah.
And I love that. I feel like that's like one of the moments where you feel like you can see all three of them, their relationship really start to bloom. Because they're popping out of the ground
like
flowers.
Wow.
Because their relationship is blooming.
Got it.
I liked seeing their relationship when they were playing cards, too.
Yes,
that
I
was
think
really
that's very telling to, like, as soon as, like, the mistress of the house leaves, they can all have fun and hang out. And, like, that's, to me, like, where the movie starts. Like, after Marianne destroys the first painting, I'm like, wanted to turn around to you guys and be like, now the movie can start, guys. Eloise's mom is out. We can have fun now. Any other like shots that you wanted to point out?
There were two that really grabbed me. The first one is the abortion scene.
Yes.
This was mind-blowing. This is a crazy shot with the baby holding
God.
her hand while she's
so
getting abortion. I was like, holy, like that is that's just crazy imagery to even like think about. That shot was amazing, but also the shot where she's drawing herself in the mirror and then it cuts out and the mirror's location is like just perfect. Like it's very telling. I don't want to spoil it, but I think that's enough.
Are we not supposed to?
We can spoil it. I'm fine with spoilers.
Okay, I'm always
spoilers,
spoiling.
by the way.
But the mirror, it cuts out and it's just like I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like especially them not showing where the mirror was at first. That really like grabbed me. That was great.
I was gonna say there's so many shots in this movie. It's hard for me to pick like an actual favorite. I really like the shot at the beginning where they're both on the coastline, and we get the side of Marianne's face, and we only see Eloise when she like turns to look at her, and then we see it like again like the look there, and then the look back, and then the look over. I don't know, that shot is just so good at establishing that initial relationship, but also like the initial curiosity the two of them have for each other in that moment, because they're still kind of like trying to figure each other out. And I just think it's a really cool way to portray that.
Yeah, I agree. That's like I don't know, it's one of like the shots when I think of the movie, and I see it a lot when people talk about this movie, is that one where it's like she like reveals Eloise to the camera and then hides her again.
I feel like it was so interesting because, like, you had said there was not that much dialogue, but to me, it felt like there was, like, a normal amount of dialogue. I really didn't notice it. But I do feel like there's so much staring and, like, looking at each other, and I feel like that in itself tells the whole story.
It really does.
And I'm like, I'm feeling it with them. And I also really liked it because it just felt more natural.
Yeah.
They weren't like, oh my gosh, I'm in love with you. They were looking at each other. And that told the whole story in itself anyways.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know if you had a specific shot or scene that you wanted to talk about.
One of the shots that when they were at the bonfire and it was flipping, but in between, like back and forth.
I think I got chills at that point.
Yeah, and like Marianne's shot was clear, and then Heloise, there was like the fire and stuff.
Yeah, no, I think she was on fire.
Dude,
I was doing this. I was into my scene, like the smoke and the embers, the fury,
That entire sequence is, again, it feels like such a defining part of the film, but like the entire thing feels like that because everything feels so intentional. But that's the entire bonfire sequence is like it's like magical with how ethereal it is and how beautifully composed it is through both shot composition and blocking in that scene because it's so intentional how they move, how they stare at each other through the fire. How I guess this what would you call a coven of like people?
I think so. Yeah. Some sort of just like.
Were they like a group of maids?
It's just a group of women.
Like I can't think of the word though, but not witches, but sort of in that realm of home remedies.
Just healers.
Group of, I guess coven is a pretty good word.
Yeah, but like again, like the blocking of everyone else there is just such a beautiful scene.
It is. I think. For this question, you guys could have said any scene now and be like, yes.
Probably. I mean, this is a movie where you definitely it's like. There's the term like every frame of painting, but like it literally is in this movie, and it has such an emphasis on painting. I was thinking about that the whole time and how every single shot I was like, and like how everything like sort of fits into place perfectly, and it's just.
I say everything is so like well structured, is well shot. Every frame looks like its own movie, like its own painting, and I think. Is really such a beautiful. My favorite scene, I have two, is the harpsichord. I got yelled at for calling it a piano. The harpsichord scene where Marianne is playing a song for Heloise, and it's the first time we see Heloise smile, and that was like a big thing. We needed to see Heloise smile, and Marianne didn't even see it. Nope. She was just smiling at her because she was playing the piano for her. And then harpsichord. And my second favorite, not my second favorite, my other favorite scene is the scene where they kind of reveal it to each other. We had the whole up to this point in the movie, we had been the ones looking at Heloise. Marianne had been looking at Heloise, and that's what the narrative we had been going with. And Heloise reveals to both Marianne and the audience that the whole time she has been looking back at Heloise or at Marianne, and she says the line, "If you look at me, who do I look at?" And to me, that's my favorite line. I think in all of cinema, because it's such like of course we've been watching her the whole time. The whole time she's been making eye contact with us, and we just didn't notice that it was her looking back at us. This has flown by. Oh my gosh. We're gonna have to start wrapping up and give some ratings. I could talk about this movie for the next 4 hours.
I probably could too. I have so much to say also.
You guys can. I think I'll allow us to go a little bit over, and we can do our ratings, and you guys can give your own statement and whatever you want to, whatever wrap up you want to say about this. Yeah. Go for it. Whoever wants to go.
Ratings.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I would say I'd give this a good 9 out of 10. I was incredibly impressed with just the intention behind every aspect in this film. I'd also like to point out the line. It was something along the lines of, "When you fall in love, do you feel like you are inventing something?" Do all lovers feel like they're inventing something? I was like, bars. That was
bars. Yeah. Do all lovers feel like they're inventing
big
something?
Fan of that. Yeah. But yeah, great movie. 9 out of 10.
And yeah, I guess going off that, like the whole like, you already see Orpheus.
Yes,
paralogs. We didn't get to talk about that. Anyway, that's the thing in this movie. But like the idea of like, after a certain point, is it the thought of me that is more important, or the actual me? And that's just so beautiful. Anyways, ratings. I kind of want to talk. Initially, I gave when I first watched this, I gave this an 8. I think I was crazy because it's definitely a 9.5.
Right.
out of 10.
Right.
This is a beautiful, fantastic movie.
I agree.
Oh, am I going now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so first, wait, should I say my statement first or my rating first?
That doesn't really
Whichever you
matter.
wish.
Okay, so my favorite scene actually probably has to be going off the harpsichord when the very end and they're playing the same song and we stay on her face for like a solid like 3 minutes.
It's like I think a 2.5 minutes.
We're
scene.
stuck feeling what she's feeling.
We're stuck staring.
And I was totally sobbing. Probably harder than she was, to be honest.
No, that's fair. I think that is such, because it's such an interesting scene because we're told what happens before it happens. Marianne tells us that she doesn't see her. And so the whole time we're just slowly zooming in on her face, like for the first time begging her to look back at the camera, but she doesn't, and we know that she's not going to.
But it's so hard because we can tell looking at her that she's looking at her in her mind, like she sees her, but she doesn't know she's there.
So
Sorry.
rating.
Oh. And then I have one more thing,
Okay, yeah.
Demi.
Come on,
oh my
Demi.
gosh.
Come on, Demi.
And then, like the first painting that she did just didn't look like her
No, it
at
did
all,
not.
which
It
is
did not.
crazy. And then I loved that when they actually got the final painting that it really looked like her. I'll give my rating now. So my rating, I was sitting here the whole time and I was like, I think first I was like, I definitely like a 9 out of 10. And then I'm sitting here and I'm like halfway through, I'm like, oh, I think it's a 9.5. And now I'm saying, I've been crying for the past 30 minutes. I have to say, I give this movie a 10 out of 10, and I think I have to change my top 4 in my letterbox.
Oh, wow, I can't
Big
believe
news for you.
That is
Goodbye, Saw! Hello, Portrait of a Lady on Fire!
Man, I am glad this beats out Saw, but
Wait, no, I take that back to Saw. I might change it. I might change it.
okay.
I do really love Saw.
Okay, I was gonna say I really like the shots where she's painting. I just liked watching that.
so
and hearing
satisfying.
It. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
unintentional like ASMR.
Does she know
Yeah.
how to paint?
No, so they hired a painter for this movie, and
Sorry, let me interrupt you.
sorry, I do have fun facts about this movie, and so there is like those are obviously real paintings that were made. A real painter painted those and were filmed at the progress. And my fun fact is that the actress that plays Marianne is left-handed, and so she had to
Me too.
learn how to paint with her right hand because the artist they hired was right-handed. So she had to pretend and learn how to paint and do things right-handed.
But was she painting in those scenes? Like, actually, that wasn't somebody else's hand. Like, that was her hand,
No,
right?
that was someone else's hand.
Oh.
But like in the shot where her face and the hand, she's like probably
She's
just like
practicing,
pretending
yeah,
to paint.
she's pretending.
But the shots of just the painting are commissioned.
I just really
artist.
liked watching that.
Mm-hmm.
I had something else, but we don't.
Sorry.
Oh, it was
Sorry.
that.
No,
it
go
was
for it.
that.
I want to hear it.
The last time she sees her like in the house was like the thing that she was so scared of that she kept seeing,
That
and then she was
memory.
like, bye.
Yeah.
And then she hugs the mom tighter than she hugs
and then
her.
she hugged her, and then she pushed her.
Yeah, but she hugged the mom. I don't know if you guys know this. Marianne hugged the mom so she could look at her without being noticed that they were looking at each other, which is.
And then she hugged her, and then she pushed her.
Devised the hug so it wouldn't be weird that she also hugged Eloise.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so anyway.
Oh yeah, rating. Sorry.
9.5 out of 10. The intention and just everything. It was just so good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think I could literally talk. I think this could be like a 4-hour cinema sit down. And it could just be me, honestly, just sitting here doing the whole thing. The parallels to the Orpheus and Eurydice story are beautiful. The different interpretations of the story and how it translates to this story. The Marianne saying that Eurydice or Orpheus made the poet's choice and not the lover's choice to choose to remember the memory of Eurydice by turning around and have the memory of the life they had together. And the final time they see each other, where Heloise is the one that tells Marianne to turn around, and it's such like a powerful line, and it's such a devastating moment. My heart literally like sank so hard because I knew it was coming, and it just hurts me every time. And I feel like every time I talk about this movie with people, we very rarely mention Sophie's story, which we didn't get to again here. She's one of my favorite characters. She is my favorite character, I think. Love Sophie. This has been my favorite movie for like 5 years. and I have to give it a 10 out of 10. It is my top movie, my number one movie, and always will be. And every time I think it's like faltering, I'll watch it again and be like, oh no, this is the best movie ever made. Blatantly the best movie ever made. So, yeah, 10 out of 10. One of the highest rated cinema sit-downs I think I've seen.
Go on!
It's such a good movie. It's such a good
really
movie.
good.
I highly recommend it.
Go watch it.
I also like that it was in French.
And it was in French.
It was in
I
French.
love
I don't think
film.
we said that.
It doesn't matter.
I said it was a French period piece.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all for Cinema Sit Down. Sorry. Thank you for joining us. I've been Megan.
I'm Rudy.
I'm Andrew.
Madeline.
Demi.
And we'll see you next time.